Well, we are at the fishing nook at Buck Hill Firearms, and we're going to do some fly tying. And we're here in Cresco, and we've got Will Daskal with us. We're going to talk about how you get started in fly tying, and also, it's not too early to get into fly tying. You'll be all ready for the spring, and that's what we're going to talk about, so don't go away. Right now, we'll go out in the open. Out in the Open is brought to you by statewide abstract and national abstract companies. For 35 years, the Pocono choice when you need a real estate title research company. By Buck Hill Firearms, the Northeast's #1 online retailer of firearms. By Marie Soap, a scent even deer-like. The Jug Handle Inn, great food and games in Cinnaminson. By Davy the Parakeet, available at Amazon Books. By the Carr Firearms Group, the #1 choice of personal carry, and the Tommy Gun Warehouse in Greeley, where you will find the largest retail showroom in the Northeast for all kinds of new and used firearms. Welcome to this edition of Out in the Open. I'm Alex Zidock.
And I'm Joanne Zidock. Alex, do I have to learn how to tie flies for you?
No, we have a bunch of them.
Oh, good.
We got a lot of flies, but we're going to talk about a system that I use. We used to do fly fishing. We went up to the Salmon River in New York, and so I've got everything from the heavy stuff that we could use if I wanted to in saltwater, and to the light stuff that we did early on. We did some shows where you were casting and catching fish, and we've done that. But we're going to try a little more this spring, perhaps, with this one system that I used to use, so we can catch some fish on flies.
Oh.
And that's with this little bobber tied up front of a spinning rod and then the flying back. We're going to talk about that a little bit later when Will comes on. And Will's going to use some of his equipment here, and he's going to talk about how easy it is to get into fly tying and show us a couple flies. So we hope you enjoy the show. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Fishermen use anise oil to mask human scent on lures and bait, and deer don't object to anise either. You can use anise-infused soap every day. Get the all-natural, handcrafted sports bar with oil of anise from Marie Soap. Go to mariesoap.com. Order today. Do you own a parakeet or know someone who does? Davy the Parakeet is now available at Amazon Books for only $9.95. A true story of an elderly woman who was gifted a parakeet and who finds a deep understanding of the parakeet's chatter and body language. It's a testament to what humans can learn from animals. Davy the Parakeet is a great gift idea. Order Davy the Parakeet online today from Amazon Books. Only $9.95. Davy the Parakeet on AmazonBooks.com.
Experience the best at the Jug Handle Inn. Great food, great people, great experiences. Try the Jug's over-the-top tots, or indulge and enjoy in our monster burgers, or our famous award-winning Jug wings. Plus, nachos, fries, and fresh salads. Do the Jug for lunch, dinner, or a late-night snack. Just relax, unwind, and let our friendly Jug team take care of you. Come on by the Jug Handle Inn, where great food and good times meet.
We are at the fishing nook here at Buck Hill Firearms in Cresco, and we're talking with Will Daskal, and Will's going to tie some flies. A little early maybe, January, but hey, it's that time of the season when there's nothing else to do outdoors. Perhaps you could still be doing a little hunting of some sort, and maybe some ice fishing and some other things, but on those days that you want to stay in, you certainly can just tie some flies. It's easy to do, easy to get started. If you want to get started, you come right down here at the fishing nook here at Buck Hill Firearms. They've got some supplies. And, Will, we're going to talk, what kind of flies are we going to talk today?
We're going to talk about flies that will work in the early season, in the winter, and will carry over into the spring, summer, and fall. In fact, they're generic flies that catch fish all the time, and they're with very simple materials.
Very easy to tie.
Very easy.
It's not hard to get into fly tying, right? People see people who tie flies, and it looks like a kind of complicated. I mean, when you look at a bunch of flies like this, they're very simple. They're small flies. They're easy to tie, and people can get involved and get started. You need a vise.
Correct.
And then you just get the materials that you need for those
Well,
flies.
I have to
and you
confess to you, when I started fly tying, I tied with my fingers. I didn't have a vise.
Oh, okay.
So I would simply hold the hook in my hand, and I have a bobbin and some feathers, and I tied flies.
But you're a kind of fellow that can do almost anything at any time, anywhere. I mean, I remember early on when we first met, you said, I'm going to start painting.
That's true.
And you started 15 years ago? How long ago did you really start putting paint on paper, canvas?
Probably 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked, and you were doing some watercolors, and you said, I'm taking some lessons, I'm going to learn,
Right.
and you graduated
Next
to the
thing you
point.
know, I was teaching it.
And now you're teaching it, teaching painting, and
Right.
and very popular guy. Your classes sell out when you were doing them, and you're
Yep.
doing them. So you're in the process of still painting. You paint a lot,
Yes.
and
Now most of the paintings that I paint go as gifts or as donations to organizations as fundraisers.
Okay. So that's something people can contact you if
Absolutely.
that's necessary. To maybe get a painting that they can auction off or do something
Right.
with. That's fantastic.
They can reach me
So-
through Facebook.
You've been tying flies longer than you've been painting, though.
I am going to be 80 years old in 4 months, and I've been tying since I'm about 9 years old, because I grew up on a chicken farm, and the guy down the road on the next farm got me into fly fishing and fly tying, and I had an abundance of chicken feathers, and caught my first trout in a never sink river. I think I was about 10 years old, and it was a 19-inch rainbow. I'll never forget it.
You never forget it. Nobody
Never.
ever forgets their first fish.
And it was
right?
in about 3 inches of water, with its dorsal fin in the air. Yeah. Well, you really have to go back to the Roman times if you're
Yes.
going to go to fly fishing, but it really became in vogue with Dame Juliana Bernier, who wrote the first treatise on, before Isaac Walton, the first treatise on fly fishing. And basically, it's some of those same patterns are used today.
You talked about the treatise back there. In the treatise, they do describe the line that people used, and they used human hair. But then they found out that actually that horse hair from the tail
Correct.
is tapered,
Correct.
like a tapered leader.
Correct.
On a that we use now.
Correct.
For fishing.
Probably the greatest change in fly fishing has been the advance in leaders, because now we have leaders that float specifically on the surface, and we have leaders that cut through the water and become invisible because they have the same specific gravity as the water. So if you're nymphing on the bottom, the fish can't see your line at all. And that's been, I think, the biggest advance. I think you have to know more about the trout, their habitat, and how they see things. For example, when we look in the water, we see water as being a clear substance. When we see color in it, it's because of the substrate that we see through the water surface, or a reflection from whatever's on the shore into the water. And we see the water as clear because of the way our eyes are constructed. So we have RGB. That's why the first color TVs were RGB, so we can see them. Trout don't have RGB. They have RGB UV. So they can see in the UV spectrum. Plus, all the water in trout streams is not clear. It's actually green. We can't perceive it with our eyes because of the way our rods and cones are. Trout are green colorblind. So they see water as a light gray mist. As food is coming down to them, they have a split second to determine if they're going to eat it. So when I'm designing a fly, and I keep them very simple, I'm interested in the silhouette, the size, and then the color. You can fool a fish with the wrong fly if you've got the right silhouette. And because they're green colorblind, I try to use colors that are more drab, except for when I need to have some kind of a trigger. Trout see colors in a certain order. The colors they see best, believe it or not, are blue and purple. So I always try to put a blue or a purple coloration into the hot spot if I can. After blue and purple come red and orange. After that, it's a crapshoot. So Trout cannot perceive a hook. If they did, you'd never catch a fish. They don't know what a hook is. So when this is coming down, they ignore the eye, they ignore the bend, they ignore the pointy end. They're only focusing on, is this a morsel? So what's happening is, because of the way their vision works, they see straight ahead, they see out to the side, and their eyes let them see partially back. They can see 270 degrees, except they have two dead spots. Not one, but two. Directly in front of their nose, there's a dead spot of about a foot, and behind them, you can approach them from behind.
Do trout react to hooks the same way as panfish? You know, like a panfish, when a panfish eats, a panfish sucks in the bait. So you throw a bait out there, the panfish sucks in the bait, the water goes through its mouth and out its gills,
Right.
and then it feels the hook. If it feels the hook, it ejects it as fast as
Correct.
it inhaled it.
Panfish will inhale the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Trout, I would say in my lifetime, I've been fly fishing a couple of years, I would say 95% have been in the front or on the side of the up. So it's a question of, if you feel the reaction, how quickly do you react to the take? If you don't react quickly enough, you lose the fish. It's as simple as that. Once we started...
Are you saying then that they'll approach a bait and bite? Is that what they do? I mean, instead of inhaling it like a panfish, do they?
They'll come up on it
bite?
and they'll just grab it, and if it feels
Okay, so
right,
it's like a bite.
yes.
Okay.
If it feels right, they'll take it. But they're really being triggered by the color and the silhouette. Okay, size, silhouette, and color. And I think in that, maybe even in that order. I like to think that the silhouette is more important, because I know that even in hatch periods, using the wrong fly, if it was the right size and silhouette, I caught fish. So you have to get out there and experiment.
What about the difference between perhaps native fish and stocked fish? Is there a difference between those two species?
In my experience, stock trout are more attracted to bright colors, sparkly colors. I mean, when I started out, I was using spinners, silver spinners, gold spinners, with leaves.
CP swing.
Yeah, but those stock fish that are in court will acclimate to the stream, and if they hold over, their behavior changes, and they start to act like native fish. So I would say, generally, stock fish are attracted to almost anything that looks edible, because they're used to being fed pellets in the hatchery, and they know if the bib is on, you've got to get it while it's available. Fish that have been bred naturally in a stream are far more selective, and I think that's why the book Selective Trout, was such a big deal many years ago, because it pointed out how trout will key on certain insects during certain hatches. I mean, you have situations when a hatch is going on, there isn't a single insect hatching. You may have 5 or 6 or more different insects hatching. Why will fish take this fly and ignore these 5 flies? And the answer is very simple. This fly has more of them hatching below the surface, so that you may not see what's going on, because the trout are going to feed on the bottom, or they're going to feed in the water column up to about 10 inches below the surface, because once the insect emerges and gets into the meniscus and then finally has its wings fill up with fluid and can fly off, it's lost an opportunity to eat. So the trout are going to feed on the emergers below the surface, they're going to feed on the nymphs on the bottom that are just starting to emerge, and they'll get them in the upper, or they'll get the cripples. They get trapped in the meniscus. Once they get into and get up into the air, they've lost an opportunity. Most of the feeding that goes on is subsurface. And if you understand that, you want to catch a lot of fish, learn how to nymph well. I wanted to learn how to catch a fish, so in about, I think it was 1990, I set up a trip with the New York chapter of Trout Unlimited. We went to central Pennsylvania. We booked Joe Humphrey, and we had lectures, we had demonstrations, and I hired him for a day on the stream. And I learned more in that day about nymphing than I even knew could exist. So what Joe did is he would tie all his nymphs of the same pattern, but the head would have a different color thread based on how much weight, how much lead he put underneath. So he knew this weighed a certain amount, this weighed a certain amount. So depending on the water depth and current, he was always getting his nymph exactly where the fish were and not snagging on the bottom. And that was probably the best thing I ever learned. And over time I became a good nympher. The only thing I don't do well, because I haven't done it yet, is Euro nymphing. And I'm going to dedicate this coming year 100% to learning how to Euro nymph, because I have all the equipment. Barbara was nice enough to get me a lambskin reel with 2 extra spools. So I have one setup for dry fly, one setup for mono Euro nymphing, and one with a level line with a custom leader that I've tied. Last year I tied 11 of these boxes. Each one has 135 flies.
That's what I showed you earlier.
Yeah.
11 of these boxes.
And these are Euro nymphs that I've
These
tied.
are Euro nymphs. We are talking to Will Daskal. We are at the Fishing Nook here at Buck Hill Firearms. And come on in. We got minnows. We got a lot of Thomas lures. We got other lures. We've got rods. We've got reels. We've got everything you need for fishing. So come on in and say hello to Rich and pick up some whatever you need for fishing, ice fishing or in the spring. We'll be right back. We're going to tie some flies.
Buck Hill Firearms, located at 115 Route 390 in Cresco, Pennsylvania. You never have to make an appointment. We're open 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. Buck Hill Firearms is a full-service sports shop including hunting and fishing equipment and live bait. Buck Hill Firearms NRA certified instructors are here to help you choose the gun that's right for you. Buck Hill Firearms, 115 Route 390 at the corner of Route 390 and 940 in Cresco, Pennsylvania. Check out our website at buckhillfirearms.com.
Real estate law is our business. Need an abstract title search company near Stroudsburg, Mount Pocono, Pocono Lake, Lake Naomi, Blakesley. Call National Abstract at 570-646-4110. For offices near Scranton, Clark Summit, Lake Wallenpaupack, Lords Valley. And for general information, call 570-226-6229. For 35 years helping people with real estate, we're a Pocono experience you can't afford. Call 570-226-6229.
To translate a vision into reality is true innovation. At Car Arms, we not only manufacture some of the most advanced firearms on the market, we build assurance and reliability through a solid history of quality. We pride ourselves on offering concealable, performance-driven firearm systems that exceed expectations time and time again. Car Arms, American ingenuity at its finest.
All right, we are back with Will Daskal. We're at the Fishing Nook at Buck Hill Firearms, and we're talking about fly fishing. I know it's early in the season, but the situation is you might get a chance to tie some flies or learn how to tie flies. What are we going to tie now?
Well, I think the first fly we're going to do a very productive fly that goes back to about 1970. Simple fly, has only 2 ingredients, the thread, and it was tied originally with a feather. But I've eliminated the feather, I've updated the fly, because Enrico Puglisi has come out with these EP fibers, which are just phenomenal. They do not absorb water, the flies float like a cork. So what I'm going to do is substitute the CDC with an EP fiber, and basically this is my version of the Franz fly, the F fly.
Okay, now what size hook are we tying this on?
Well, this is a large hook for the benefit of the TV audience. Normally I would tie this fly on a 16 or an 18.
Wow, that's a little...
It's a little smaller. I make go as big as a 14.
I can't even tie my leader to a 18.
Well, those flies that I tied last year, I mean, those are 20s, 18s and 20s.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I can still do that, but I can't do the 24s and 26s anymore.
I just fumble too much.
Can't do it. Anyway, it's a quick fly. It's
Okay.
easy. Basically, what he did is he used a gray thread with CDC feathers. And if you haven't seen CDC, it's basically a feather that comes from the butt of a duck. And it's called a canard. And it's from the preening gland of the duck. And that's how they dress their feathers and stay waterproof. So
Now this gadget you're using is a thread thing.
This is a
that just
bobbin.
a bobbin. It holds a bobbin.
Correct.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I've got the thread and the
Okay.
bobbin.
All right.
I'm going to pull off some of it, and this is called addressing the hook. And don't say hello hook. That's So I'm going to go about one hook eye behind, and I'm going to just do one wrap in front. And now I'm going to come back, and I'm going to hold this on a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
And by doing that, it forces every turn to slide down.
Okay.
On the
I
previous
see what you're
one.
doing. Yeah.
Okay?
Sure. Sure.
I can even tilt it so you can see it this way.
Yeah.
Now, most people have their vices set up so that this handle is parallel coming out. I have it angled up so that while I'm tying, I can use the back of my palm.
Back of your knuckles there to push
rotate
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I see that.
And if I want to get out of the way of the hook, I can come down this way.
Okay.
So that's a little trick I've come up with.
Okay.
All right, and once I get back, I'm going to do a couple more wraps. At this point, I don't need this thread anymore. So I'm going to trim that thread off. And basically, I'm going to create a slightly tapered body.
Okay.
And it's going to be just a thread. So the way to do it is I'm going to go back to the beginning, to my starting point. And once I get to my starting point, I'm going to come back 3/4 of the way. Not all the way to the end, but 3/4 of the way. Right there. Now I'm going to come back up to the front.
Do you count while you're winding, or is
Now,
this a
I'm
side
just looking
thing?
at position. Now I'm going to go
Okay.
back halfway. And now I come back up to the front. Now I go back 1/4. And now I come back up. And I secure everything so it doesn't fall off and I don't lose my work. I just put in a half hitch.
And that little gadget is an easy
This
way
is
to...
called a whip finisher. It's a Mattarelli whip finisher.
Okay.
And if you look very carefully,
This is a Mattarelli
Yep.
whip finisher.
basically what it does is the head rotates
Uh-huh.
around, so it lets you rotate the thread around the hook and keep it parallel.
Okay.
And the way the hook is set up, the shank is parallel to the shaft of the
Oh,
vise.
okay. All right.
So if I rotate this, it doesn't change
Yeah.
position.
Okay. I see that. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
And if you look really very carefully, you will see a very slight taper.
Okay.
Now, I have to tell you something. There are no fat or overweight flies in the world. They're all a certain size. Unless they're crippled, they're all going to be about the same proportions. So they're not going to be like we are.
Yeah. Right.
Okay?
They're going to be.
So, in,
well, that's nature.
in the original, a CDC feather was used. But
Right.
CDC eventually does absorb water and it does sink, and then you have to dry it and you have to apply stuff. This stuff never changes. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off some of the fibers.
That's man-made fiber?
Yep. And these are Enrico Puglisi EP fibers. They're trilobal, which means they do not absorb water. And all I have to do now is even up the ends,
Okay.
which I did there. Now, I want to be able to tie this in and not have the thread jump that way. I
Okay.
want to have control of the thread. Thread is put on a spool for right-handed world.
Okay.
Everything is twisted right. So if I counterspin the bobbin,
Right.
the thread will slightly flatten out, and when I bring it up, watch what happens. It's going to jump backwards.
Oh yeah, I see that.
See?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
going to jump backwards.
I see that. Yeah.
So I can now come around here, and I can just tie it in. And go in front, on top, in front, and top, and that locks it in.
Oh wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
All I have to do now, oh man, that looks good, is cut this on an angle. Now I'm using the back of the hook as a measuring device.
Okay.
I'm going to angle it down like this.
Okay.
And we're going to just tie it off. And that's it. That's the fly.
Wow.
As simple
Now-
as that.
now, you have to. I mean, would you dress the knot with something like you know, I know everybody uses hard as nails kind of thing.
I do. I
or
do.
something. And I mean, we should. I mean, isn't that something we should do? I mean, dress the knot there.
No.
And
If you do,
yeah.
if you do what I did, put the half hitches on and then lock it in the way I did. I did a 5-turn whip finish. It's going to hold. I've never had a fly come undone.
Okay.
And this fly will catch a ton of fish. And this does not absorb water, so it's going to sit. It's going to sit in the surface film. If it breaks through the meniscus, this is above the water. So the trout will see the body partially dangling down. It's a cripple. It can't get out yet because it's not up in above the meniscus. So the benefit of this, I can fish this fly just the way it is as a caddis fly. If I add a tail to this and prop the wing up, it's a mayfly. Okay?
Yeah.
If I take some of these fibers, put a few of them trailing off the back, it's a trailing shuck. So I can fish this fly and only have to change the color of the wing if I need to, but the color of the body, and I can match any caddis fly, any mayfly, anything that's emerging, just about. And it's a very versatile fly, and it's so simple to tie, no effort, and minimal materials.
I appreciate you coming on again. As I said, we
Always
always
enjoy
enjoy talking with you and learning so much about fly tying. We hope you enjoyed this segment. Don't go away. We're going to be right back. It's always interesting to talk to our friend Will Daskal, who is a fantastic artist. He fishes, he hunts, he does all those things, and he told you he's going to be 80 in a little bit. Still getting out there and enjoying the outdoors, great outdoors here in the Poconos, as we all do. What'd you think about that little fly?
I didn't realize that you could make little tiny ones like this. I thought they had to be done with a machine.
Yeah.
So you're on a machine.
You know, he's like a machine when he ties,
I
you know,
know,
when he does that. That's amazing.
amazing.
But yeah,
It really
you
is.
hand tie this stuff. And maybe we'll take this fly in the spring and we'll put it on
We'll
one of
try
those
it.
bobber rigs,
We'll try it, won't
and you
we?
can see if it really works. Then you can send him a text or an email and say, "Hey, Will, look at the fish I caught, and I'm putting it back. Will, we're not eating this one because you said put them back." So that's what we'll do, right? You had fun watching
We
the
want
show.
more of these, though.
Yeah,
so
we
can
got a
catch
lot
all
of them. Look,
different
we got
kinds.
all
Look,
kind of flies that he tied and everything else that he's done. Hey, come back here to the fishing nook at Buck Hill Firearms and get everything you need. We got minnows, live minnows. We've got tons of lures from Thomas Lures. We got special buckets full of lures that you can come and select whatever you want from. We got rods, we got reels, we got everything else that you need. So, come on down and see us here at the Fishing Nook, Buck Hill Firearms in Cresco. Hey, we hope you enjoyed the show. We enjoy bringing it to you. We're going to be somewhere.
We're going to be out in the open fishing.
Absolutely.